two-time athlete of the year. 22 years old. She had a record-breaking season with the Indiana Fever.
That is Iowa native and Indiana Fever star, and now Time's 2024 Athlete of the Year, Caitlin Clark, looking back at a whirlwind year.
Caitlin Clark's rise in the WNBA has caused a lot of buzz, and not everyone is happy about it. At just 22, she's already been named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year and is being celebrated everywhere. But her sudden success has left some of the league's biggest stars, like A'ja Wilson, feeling sidelined.
A lot to be proud of, and it all happened so fast, like it's hard to appreciate in the moment.
The spotlight that once belonged to players like Wilson has quickly shifted to Clark, and that change isn't sitting well with everyone. A'ja Wilson isn't just any player. For years, she's been the face of the WNBA. She's a two-time MVP, a champion, and someone who worked hard to make the league what it is today.
A'ja Wilson has definitely been in the headlines these last couple weeks, man, in regards to Caitlin Clark news.
Wilson helped bring attention to women's basketball when it wasn't getting the recognition it deserved. She carried the league on her shoulders, building her legacy brick by brick. But now, with Caitlin Clark grabbing all the attention, it feels like Wilson's efforts are being forgotten.
But I love my teammates so much that I will take any hit from them. Good, bad, ugly.
Caitlin isn't just a talented player, she's the new star of the league. Her games are packed, her highlights are everywhere on social media, and sponsors are falling over themselves to work with her. During her college days at Iowa, she became a sensation. Every game felt like a major event, with fans showing up in huge numbers to watch her play. And it wasn't just her stats that stood out, it was her style. She'd take these impossible long-distance shots, and they'd go in, leaving the crowd in awe.
With Caitlin gone, did they plummet, but they're still better than they would have been? Or did they plummet back down to non-Caitlin Clark levels?
In her rookie season, she broke records, led the league in assists, and pulled off multiple triple-doubles. She became the talk of the league almost overnight. But as her star rose, it started to overshadow the players who had been there for years. Players like A'ja Wilson.
Obviously, I think everything would escalate with the involvement of Clark and to a lesser degree Wilson. But those statements I just said indicate a league that at least knows what it...
For someone like Wilson, who has spent years at the top, this shift is hard to take. She worked so hard to build her name and be the leader of the league, and now suddenly everyone is talking about Caitlin. It's not just about basketball skills, it's about who the media and fans are focusing on. And right now, all that attention is on Clark. Imagine being at a party where you're the one everyone's looking at, talking to, and celebrating. Then someone new walks in, and suddenly everyone is flocking to them. That's probably how Wilson feels right now. For years, she was the WNBA's biggest star. Now, Caitlin Clark has come in and changed everything. And it's not just Wilson feeling this. Other veteran players are noticing it too. There's a sense of frustration and even anger about how quickly the narrative has shifted. Caitlin's rise has also highlighted some deeper issues in the league. She's been able to attract casual fans, celebrities, and big sponsors in a way that many veteran players never could. Her highlights dominate TV and social media, and brands are lining up to work with her. Nike even gave her a $28 million deal and her own signature shoe line. This kind of attention is something players like Wilson have been fighting for years to get, and seeing Caitlin get it so quickly feels unfair to some. There's also an uncomfortable truth about race and privilege in all of this. Caitlin, as a white player in a league where most of the stars are black, has benefited from a kind of attention and accessibility that many of her peers haven't. Players like Wilson have faced uphill battles to get the same level of media support, sponsorships, and public interest. It's not something people talk about openly, but it's there, lingering in the background and adding to the tension. You can see the frustration boiling over during games. Things are getting more physical on the court, and interactions between players feel tense. It's not just about winning anymore, it's about respect and who gets to be the face of the league. Wilson, who spent years building her legacy, now finds herself constantly compared to Clark. And those comparisons aren't always fair. It's not just about their performance. It's about who gets the headlines, the sponsorships, and the love from fans. For Wilson and other veteran players, this isn't just competition. It feels personal. They've worked hard to make the WNBA what it is today, and now they're watching as Caitlin Clark gets celebrated as if she's the one who brought the league into the spotlight. That kind of shift stings, and it's creating a lot of resentment behind the scenes. This season, the tension is hard to miss. Veteran players are fighting to hold on to their place in the league while dealing with the overwhelming buzz around Clark. It's not just whispers anymore. It's showing up in the way players interact on the court and in how they talk about each other in interviews. The rivalry between Clark and Wilson may not be spoken outright, but it's there, and it's only growing stronger. At the same time, the WNBA is seeing a surge in popularity thanks to Clark. Viewership is up, games are drawing bigger crowds, and sponsors are paying more attention than ever. But for many of the league's older players, this growth feels bittersweet. They're glad the league is getting the attention it deserves, but they can't help but feel like their contributions are being pushed aside in favor of the new thing. For Wilson, this moment is a turning point. She can either let this shift define her as part of the league's past or use it as motivation to prove why she's still one of the best. But that's easier said than done when the spotlight seems fixed on Clark. Meanwhile, Caitlin has her own challenges to face. She's not just playing basketball, she's carrying the weight of the league's future on her shoulders. Every game, every play, and every interview is scrutinized, and the pressure on her is massive. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about power, legacy, and what the future of the WNBA looks like. Clark's rise has shaken things up in a way that's exciting for fans, but deeply unsettling for the players who've been holding the league together for years. The rivalry, whether spoken or not, between Clark and Wilson is becoming the center of the league's story, and it's not going away anytime soon. As the season moves forward, the tension will only build. Fans are watching closely to see how it all plays out. Will Wilson find a way to reclaim her place at the top? Will Clark continue to dominate and redefine what women's basketball looks like? Or will this rivalry push both players to new heights? One thing's for sure, the WNBA is more intense than ever, and this story is far from over.